first up, we've got none other than Combat Zone Wrestling's very own Black G's. How you doing, G's?
Yo, what's going on, man?
Oh, man, we're doing all right. And looking forward to talking to you for several weeks now. Glad we finally got you on here. You know,
Cool.
one of the things I wanted to ask you about first and foremost is a lot of people weren't aware of this. I think I was one of the very few who actually called it out when it happened, but seeing you as Rashad Cameron on TNA and then seeing you also as Jared Wackler on WWE programming within 1 week's time, I guess what kind of a feeling was that for you, knowing you hit the two biggest promotions within 1 week's time?
I mean, it was a good feeling, man. I mean, like one of my goals was always to work in the WWE ring and TNA. Like I think more people made a bigger deal out of it than I did. I mean, like when it happened, it didn't really. It was cool, but I wasn't really all overly crazy about it. And then I thought about it, and I was like, man, that is pretty cool. I don't think a lot of people did both main shows in a week's time in a long time, so it was pretty cool. I mean, a lot of times, man, like I don't really get overly excited about stuff like that. I mean, I appreciate it, but I don't know. I just don't really get all extra excited about it. Probably because I've been wrestling so long that you know what I'm saying, I always expect the worst, but I hope for the best. So like when something like that happens, you know what I'm saying, I don't get all extra excited.
Now, the interesting thing about it, a lot of people aren't aware of, that TNA does a lot of their taping well in advance. Now, were you really within a week of wrestling in both promotions, or was the tapings just so happened to work out that way?
Well, the WWE one was a week. WWE was 1 week because like the SmackDown tapings is on a Tuesday. So and then they show the tape. They show it on the Friday, you know what I'm saying? But then the week after that, the TNA taping, that was live. So it was one
So
week
it was a
back
live
to
one.
back. Right. The TNA one was live.
Very cool. So tell me a little bit, G's, if you would. You're from the great city of Philadelphia, and you've obviously seen a lot of great wrestling in a very thriving wrestling city. I guess, how did you get involved in wrestling? I guess, were you brought up watching ECW and all the hardcore stuff, or I guess, how did you get into it?
I used to watch it as a kid with my grandma, and probably just like a lot of people, my earliest memory was watching Hulk Hogan. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us was Hulkamaniacs. I definitely was. And then I started, once I saw like NWA wrestling, saw the Four Horsemen, like Dusty Rhodes and Nikita Koloff and all of them, I started loving it even more because NWA looked like it was real compared to WWF. WWF it looked like, you know what I'm saying, sort of like the circus with a lot of characters. And NWA was like more grimy, it was more gritty. So it seemed like dudes was really hitting each other, you know what I'm saying? You know how you believe that when you were a kid. And
Sure.
then like years passed and I started watching Japanese wrestling. Once I started seeing New Japan Pro Wrestling, like back in the days when Benoit and Guerrero was there and Liger, you know what I'm saying, and like dudes like Otani and Takaiwa, that's when I really fell in love with it. Because like Japanese wrestling, it was like a lot of smaller guys, like a lot of junior heavyweights that was doing their thing. So I got hooked on it, and that was all I ever wanted to do. And then like being from Philly, of course, I started watching ECW and was loving ECW, you know what I'm saying. And then I just pursued it, you know what I'm saying, got trained for it, and then just stuck with it. Like a lot of times, like my family thought it was just a phase I was going through, you know what I'm saying. They didn't think I was going to stick with it, but I stuck with it, and you know what I'm saying. They're pretty supportive, you know what I'm saying. Overall, I'm glad I stuck with it.
I've been to Philadelphia one time, G's, but I've not been able to witness a wrestling match in your hometown. Tell us a little bit about the wrestling scene in Philadelphia, just how, I guess, maniacal the fans are there. Is it really as bloodthirsty as the rest of the nation thinks it is, or is it just a great wrestling town and they love all forms of wrestling?
Yeah, Philly crowd, they definitely brutal, you know what I'm saying? Like they've seen a lot of wrestling, and not only, it's just Philly in general, whether it's wrestling fans or whether it's like all sports fans. Like if you go to an Eagles game or a Phillies game or a Sixers game, the Philly fans, they brutal, you know what I'm saying? They just look to tear people down, you know what I'm saying? At the same time, I love that, you know what I'm saying? Like they're real passionate about it. So like if you come in if you come into Philly and for a wrestling show, and if you going half-ass it, they gonna let you know that they ain't feeling it. And they just, like, I remember when the arena was open and new dudes would come to like CZW or whatever, like the fans would be waiting for them to screw up so they could just jump on their case. You know what I'm saying? But what you got to do is you just got to show that confidence and not let that affect you. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, once they see that you ain't letting that affect you and you just doing your thing, they just going to fall in love with what you do. You know what I'm saying? And basically, like, if you can, you know what I'm saying, stand out for the Philly crowd, then you can stand out anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, with me, like, I never have a hard time, like, getting over with any fans in any area. And I think that has a lot to do with coming from Philly. You know what I'm saying? With the Philly attitude, it's like we pretty much, we go any and everywhere and we rep our city. You know what I'm saying? We look at it like ain't nobody, I don't know if I can cuss on here, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we look at it like can't nobody hang with us. So we just go everywhere with that Philly attitude, and people see that and they enjoy it and they embrace it. You know what I'm saying?
The city that boos Santa Claus, man. I understand.
Yeah,
I'm going to turn
much,
it over
man.
real quick to the Morning Star himself, Will Huckabee, who might have some experiences to share with you as well. Willie, what you got for Black G's tonight?
I was going to ask, my first question is, all of our fans know you wrestle under two main monikers, Sabian and Black G's. I wanted to know, what was the inspiration behind coming out to the name Black Jesus, basically, and how much flack did you get for that?
Well, it's the thing, man. Like I was using the name Sabian for a long time, and after a while, I just wasn't feeling the name no more. It didn't really fit me. So then, like, I knew that, then a lot of times, like on show reviews and whatever, people would spell it. People would call me Saban. You know what I'm saying? Instead of writing Sabian. You know what I'm saying? There's already one Saban out there, Chris Saban. So people would like write Saban, and then people would get confused or whatever. So I just did away with the name, and I just started using the Black Jesus as like a nickname. You know what I'm saying? Then I just stuck with Black Jesus. But then, you know what I'm saying, I started catching a little bit of flack from like my mom and my aunts saying stuff like, yo, you can't be calling yourself Jesus. You know what I'm saying? So I just shortened it to Black G's. And to me, Black G's, it's more marketable. It fits me better. You know what I'm saying? It's just better overall. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know, like, at first, to a lot of people, when they hear the name Black G's, they just looked at it like, what's that? But it's about, you know what I'm saying, making the name mean something. And at this point, I think people loving the name Black G's. I know I am. You know what I'm saying? It's marketable. Black G's is that's the name. That's way better than Sabian was. So Black G's it is for the future.
Yeah, I'll admit, like, the first time I'd ever heard of you, I was definitely awestruck. I'm like, who is this guy who was so arrogant, would call himself Black Jesus? And the first move I've ever seen, first footage I ever saw of you, was you doing the Black Jesus stomp on somebody in CZW wearing a pair of Timbs. I don't know if you remember the video or the footage, but that was my first impression of you, was doing the Black G's stomp off the top rope, the double foot stomp, wearing a pair of Timberlands.
Yeah, I remember that. That was on the board, Great Blazini. You know what I'm saying? That was, I forget what show it was, but there was a show when this dude tried to springboard dive on me and Ruckus on the outside. And he jumped up, he slipped and fell twice, then he went and tried it again. We moved out of the way and the boy hit the floor. So then I just rolled him in the ring and double stomped him off the top with the Timbs on. You know what I'm saying? So then after that, the boy just disappeared. I don't know where he at now. He probably still lost somewhere.
All right, so I mean, yeah, I'm about to say, you've worked with CZW, Chikara. You've taken numerous tours in Japan. How about you tell our listeners, what was your experience working for some of the companies in Japan?
Yeah, Japan was cool. When I first got into wrestling, because I had such a love for New Japan Pro Wrestling in Japan in general, like my main goal was to make it to Japan. Like I never thought that I would, you know what I'm saying? I never thought that I would ever, you know what I'm saying, get to wrestle in WWF, WWE or whatever. I just thought like it was a long shot. So my goal was always to make it to Japan. So once I made it there, you know what I'm saying, I accomplished my goals and I started setting more goals. But, you know what I'm saying, once I first got to Japan, man, it was just, it was crazy, man. I just couldn't believe I was there. You know what I'm saying? And that pretty much, that proves that, like, if you if you want to make something happen, if you work hard, you can make it happen. So like, I accomplished that goal of going to Japan. Like all those years of watching Japanese wrestling with guys wrestling in Corrigan Hall, man, and then I actually wrestled in that building, man. It was just a dream come true.
How much different is the fans? You know, you hear all the wrestlers talk about, geez, how you get over to Japan, they're so polite and everything. Do you still feel that way when you're over there, or do you feel they're starting to become more Americanized in how they look at pro wrestling?
Now, I think the fans in Japan, like they look at pro wrestling like fans in the States look at like football or basketball or whatever. Like they take it seriously and they appreciate everything that the wrestlers do. Like when you in Japan and you're wrestling, the fans, they're quiet during the matches because they're sitting there and they're watching what's going on and they appreciate it. Then like, you know what I'm saying, as things get heated up and things start going crazy over there, they really start getting amped up and start getting hyped and start cheering. They cheer your name during the match, you know what I'm saying? It's like basically like the Japanese fans, they appreciate it more than the fans in America. A lot of American fans, they're really spoiled, you know what I'm saying? And they just live to criticize everything. But with the fans in Japan, like I was saying, they appreciate everything and they make you want to go out there and work extra hard because they appreciate it, because they respect everything that we're doing.
So you kind of have to earn their respect, and when you hear them start cheering in the middle or towards the latter stages of the match, and you know you've won them over, that's when you know you've done a great job.
Yeah, pretty much. And then when you go over there and you do good in Japan, like you can go for like a few years without going back, but they never forget you. So it's like when you go back over there, they always remember you and they always still show that appreciation and that love for it. So like that's always cool.
We're talking to none other than CZW star Black G's, who's with us this evening. I know you've got a big event coming up here real soon. I want to make sure we talk about big trios match signed up in Philadelphia. You got Bestia and Damien 666 together. You've got you and your partner in Crime Ruckus, and then Sabbath and Homicide are there as well. Tell us a little bit about the event so we make sure we plug your appearance for this weekend.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. This Sunday at the arena in South Philly, you got a trios match. You got me and Ruckus the Blackout along with the notorious 187 Homicide versus the legendary Sabu, Damien 666 and Bestia. And you know what I'm saying, like I mean that us six, you know what I'm saying, it speaks for itself. That's definitely going to be one of the matches that fans are going to get their money's worth out of. Overall, it's going to be a great event. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's so many matches on there that can steal the show, that will steal the show. And I think with this being the first true Lucha Libre show in Philadelphia, it's going to be really important for the company to do a great job. And I think everybody there is going to be on the same page. And the main goal is going to be to like tear the house down. You know what I'm saying? Like any and everybody that's planning to come out to the arena this Sunday, you're definitely going to get your money's worth. It's also available on iPay-per-view. So overall, it's going to be a great show. And me, Ruckus, and Homicide, we definitely going to tear it up. You know what I'm saying? Like me, Ruckus, and Homicide, we definitely got legendary status in Philly. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely going to do our thing and kill it like we always do. King of Philly, the Black G's, the King of Baltimore, Ruckus, and the King of New York, Homicide, we all going to go in there and tear it down.
Now, have you ever participated in Lucha Libre before?
I'm sorry?
Have you ever participated in any Lucha Libre matches before this?
Yeah, I have. Like, all that time spent wrestling in Shikara, like, way back, you know what I'm saying, I learned a lot of my lucha from Mike Quackenbush and Skida, you know what I'm saying, so I'm definitely familiar with Lucha Libre style. And, like, for a long time, I loved Lucha Libre more than American style. Like, as time went on and I developed more and more, I wasn't really into the lucha style as much as I used to be, but it's still second nature to me, you know what I'm saying? So, hey, at any time, I can still put on a lucha match when it's needed. But this Sunday, it's going to be a bit of lucha, a bit of strong style, whatever. It's going to be a little bit of everything, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Let's kick it back over to the Morning Star, Will Huckabee.
Hey, G's, I'm sitting there, of course, watching your matches and stuff. I want to know, what are growing up, who were some of your favorite wrestlers, and who really inspired you? I would like to think, when I see you, your entrance and everything, I see a little bit of Tully Blanchard when you're walking to the ring. So I really want to know who inspired you when you first started.
Definitely Tully Blanchard, man. Like I was always a Four Horsemen fan, and everybody loved Ric Flair. Definitely, Ric Flair was definitely a favorite, but my favorite Horseman was always Tully Blanchard because no matter what, Tully Blanchard always was a true heel. Like even when the Horsemen turned babyface a few times, like the fans still hated Tully. You know what I'm saying? And like Tully Blanchard was always the man. I always liked the bad guys. You know what I'm saying? Like early on, I was a Hulkamaniac or whatever. But after that, I was a big fan of the bad guys. Bad guys like Jake the Snake, Rick Rude, Ted DiBiase. But as far as influence, my biggest influence was definitely Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, Jushin Liger, Juventud Guerrera, Rey Mysterio, like a lot of different people. So like what I really did was like all of my favorites, I just took a little bit of this and a little bit of that and just added it to what I do, and you know what I'm saying, and just took it from there.